he and I, over the last year or so, have had a number of conversations about this particular project. I also want to thank all the local elected officials for the great interest, the tremendous support, the amount of time, effort, energy put into the rebirth of the Avondale Shipyard. I want to thank Jefferson Parish and President Yenni, JEDCO, all the folks from the port. You see, when you start doing this, you make a mistake because you do leave people out, and certainly that's not my intention. But I do want to thank some folks from my administration. Secretary Don Pearson from Economic Development, who's worked so hard. He's not here with us today because I've got him out doing other things. But Deputy Secretary Brad Lambert is with us. I want to thank Sean Wilson, the head of the Department of Transportation, and also Tommy Clark, who is Commissioner of Multimodal Commerce, for their very hard work. And I want to thank somebody else that most of you had no reason to see his involvement, but it was instrumental, I think, ultimately to our success here, and that was my executive counsel, Matthew Block, who worked extremely hard to make sure that this came to fruition. You know, they say good things come to those who wait. I will say good things come to those who work. There was a lot of work that went into this announcement this morning. And the state, regional, local collaboration in support of Avondale's future has been nothing short of phenomenal. And it started 4 years ago. This particular project wasn't discussed 4 years ago, but we knew the need to put Avondale back into commerce, the role that it plays in our state, but in this region of our state on the West Bank here in Jefferson Parish. And I'm delighted to say that we have attracted some extraordinarily hardworking and visionary private sector partners who are committed to reviving Avondale and making sure it's a powerful new economic asset for the state of Louisiana. You know, right here in Jefferson Parish today where we're gathered, this is a very special and historic place. This iconic shipbuilding site fulfilled the dreams of so many workers here, but also contributed in a mighty way towards America's freedom in times of war, and it realized the hope of America's commerce in times of peace. Incredibly important. And it's done so because tens of thousands of Louisiana workers were committed to their craft of shipbuilding, as no other workforce has ever been committed to a common goal. And as you know, earlier this decade, after years of declining commercial shipbuilding opportunities in the country, after declining Department of Defense orders for military vessels, Avondale Shipyards and its proud workforce were faced with an unavoidable closure. And that happened in 2014. And this was a very proud shipbuilding legacy that had lasted for 75 years. Well, today we're gathered for the transition of Avondale's proud legacy into a new era. And the dedication, the commitment to the United States and to Louisiana that has been shown here at Avondale is going to continue and live on through the redevelopment of this 254-acre site. Through a new partnership and a covenant for the future of Avondale, I am proud to announce that this historic property will be restored to active commerce with a new era of economic development along the Mississippi River. Specifically, I am proud to announce that Avondale Marine LLC has purchased this site from Huntington Ingalls Industries. Avondale Marine represents a joint venture of two very important players on the global maritime and logistics scene, and that's T. Parker Host out of Norfolk, Virginia, and Hilco Redevelopment Partners based in the Chicago area. And they specialize in exactly what we're talking about here today, taking historic maritime sites in need of reinvestment and redevelopment and repurposing so that they can be put back into commerce and play an important role for generations to come. I would also like to thank Huntington Ingalls for continuing to maintain this site so that it would be viable for redevelopment as we are celebrating today. And I think we would be remiss if we didn't acknowledge the continuing outstanding contributions of Huntington Ingalls' professional engineering workforce located next door at the UNO Maritime Technology Center of Excellence. In that center, Huntington Ingalls employs 350 people who design ships that are being constructed elsewhere. And their contributions continue to support the strength of our military at sea and our economy here in Louisiana. We appreciate that. And thankfully, those operations are going to continue going forward after the sale of this property. Meanwhile, we have a historic moment to repurpose the proud past, to leverage the current assets that you're looking at here on site today, and to further develop the vast potential of this Avondale Shipyard site. That potential will leverage more than a mile of river frontage, more than a dozen existing structures, and some 2 million square feet of property under roof here at Avondale. And the future is going to combine the world-class logistics of Louisiana's maritime, rail, and highway infrastructure in a new economic model for the future. In short, this is going to be a global logistics hub, and it's going to bring in global investment and regional employment. And that future, which is our future, will honor our past while creating tremendous new economic impact here at Avondale. I'd like to introduce now the president and CEO of T. Parker Host, who is Adam Anderson, and he's going to be leading this bold new joint venture to create a new Avondale. I've been working with Adam for a good while now, and I want to thank him for the confidence that he and his company have shown in Avondale, in Jefferson Parish, and in the state of Louisiana, and thank him for that investment. Critically important for us going forward. You know, we have to inspire confidence in people around the country and around the world who make those investment decisions, so that they will come here and invest in our state. And I will tell you, this is an exciting time in Louisiana. It's a great time to be governor because we are doing so much better on so many fronts today than we were just a couple of years ago. And this is yet another indication of that. So ladies and gentlemen, please offer a warm Louisiana welcome to Adam Anderson so that he can tell us more about what's in store for us here at Avondale. Thank you so much.
Thanks. Thank you for your kind words, Governor Edwards. We're delighted to be here. It's a really, it's a big day of celebration for us. We've been working at this for a long time. I'm honored to be up here representing the team with my partner, Roberto Perez, the CEO of Hilco Redevelopment Partners. Roberto, I think, first looked at this site in 2014, and then I guess mentioned to me in 2016. I said, well, Roberto, I know you're telling me about it, but it really can't be real, right? We can't have a mile of waterfront on the Mississippi River and the 2 million square feet of heavy industrial buildings ready to be returned to commerce there. And in fact, it was. And so I'm honored that he brought me in here and that we've been able to consummate this transaction with Huntington Ingalls. You know, when we came down here, we saw not only a strategically located facility on the Mississippi River near the rail, interstates, and the ability to house value-add industries right here on site, but we also quickly found one of the greatest skilled workforces in America to perform that work already existing here in Jefferson Parish and surrounding areas in the state of Louisiana. We saw a community of business and government leaders who are ready to bring Avondale back. And today we're proud to be here to formally kick off the first major step in returning the Avondale Shipyard to commerce. We finally completed the acquisition of the site yesterday, and over the coming months and years, we're going to transform the shipbuilding facility into a global logistics hub. Together, we can and will create thousands of jobs as we unleash the combined potential of this workforce in this community, this facility. Thank you. That's humbling. We've been humbled and overwhelmed by the reception that we've received here thus far. It's a complex history. Governor Edwards and President Alario have been helping us for over a year here. And without that combined effort of the community, I'm going to steal a line from Governor Edwards here. I'm sure I'm going to forget somebody, but I want to thank Governor Edwards personally for his his involvement, we could say that he constantly was keeping track of the progress and making sure that we had the confidence in the state, and we definitely had confidence in him and his administration to help move it forward. I wanted special thanks to President Alario. His wisdom and guidance and leadership and commitment to seeing Avondale return to commerce and our project move forward. When the going got really tough, he kept us get going. This project would not have happened without you. We're very thankful, sir. Parish President Yenni, the entire Jefferson Parish Council and staff, Chief Operating Officer Keith Conley, and his whole team banded together to really be forward-thinking on how we could return Avondale to commerce with all these different pieces that you don't normally think about, with sewer and water and services. A few years ago, when the parish called out for some maritime development here in Jefferson Parish, and they formed a parish task force. And so when we started talking about complex global logistics, it was, I think we were awed to have a team on the other side of the table who not only understood it, but was already formed into a task force for us to talk about our plans with. Recently we entered a cooperative endeavor agreement with the Port of New Orleans. Host is a 95-year-old company, so usually we're the older guy, the older company with our counterparties, but when we now joining officially part of the Port of New Orleans to be under their jurisdiction, a 300-year-old entity is pretty awe-inspiring for me. Lee-Sheng was a real visionary and very helpful as the chairman of the Port Commission to move this across, and Brandy Christian, the CEO, has been a phenomenal supporter and advisor of how to best bring Avondale back to commerce. We're working with the Public Belt Railroad and their board, which is the Port Board, to actually make a physical connection to the belt, and I hope to be here in another tent, maybe on the other side of the property, cutting a ribbon here in the not too distant future for the official Public Belt connection into Avondale. I also want to thank Jerry Bologna, who really embraced us from the very first visit to JEDCO's annual awards banquet, and his entire board and the staff at JEDCO to help move this project forward. Michael Heck with G&O has also been a tireless supporter of this project. We wouldn't be here without your efforts and that of the Jefferson Business Council, the Chamber, our congressional delegation, our councilmen, the state legislators, and officials throughout the parish government. We're thankful and humbled for your help. Finally, I wanted to thank the team at Host and Hilco. At Host, our number one core principle is that our people are our greatest asset. I think that's also largely true of Louisiana, where our people are the greatest asset there. And so I want to thank the 30 people who have worked for over a year on this project and diligence from both teams, but also the other 450 employees we had in 15 other states who were pulling up the slack and doing extra work while the company and myself were focused on acquiring Avondale. It's a pivotal moment in many ways for our company, for the Hilco team, for the state, and the work's only beginning now. This region is known for moving a lot of cargo. By a lot of cargo, I mean over 500 million tons of cargo through the lower Mississippi River, right? It's a staggering figure. And having a very skilled workforce here, the legacy that Governor Edwards spoke of building some of the most efficient modern ships in the world until the closure of the shipyard there. So with having that already in place, we think that combining those two things with Avondale's return, we want the community to be not only known for moving cargo, but for adding value to that cargo and for adding value right here in Jefferson Parish. And we're committed to working to make that happen. Just as it's taken the entire community support to get this day here, as we create a world-class logistics hub, we're going to continue to need the partnership of the Port of New Orleans and the Public Belt. We need to continue leadership of the problem-solving team that the parish was able to put together and the state officials. We need the support from the federal government, from the working with the Corps of Engineers to rehab the docks and the Coast Guard to make sure it's done safely, to achieve their mission while we still promote commerce. We need the entire business community to continue to rally around this project as we return commerce to the greater West Bank area there. And as we create jobs, spur economic development, And we hope Avondale Shipyard will once again rise to be a great source of pride for Jefferson Parish, the state of Louisiana, and most importantly, all the people who are impacted by this thing. So thank you. Now I'd like to introduce President John Alario with another. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Adam. There are very few things that happen in a community that have such an impact on it. This is obviously one of those that provides for our future and our children's future and hopefully our grandchildren's future. I'm so happy to have worked with these folks, both Adam and both pretty decent guys. I think they like beer too. You know, so many people to thank you. The project like this just doesn't happen overnight. This one has gone through the years, but Jared Balone and the JEDCO folks and their staff have worked tirelessly on this project. The Jefferson Parish Council, each and every one of those members are solidly behind this project, along with the parish president and his staff, and want to thank each and every one of them. Our Jefferson Parish legislative delegation all have a sense of trying to make sure business has very successful, not only in our area, but throughout the state, and are very business friendly. Some of those are here tonight, today. Senators Carter and Senator Pell, I see back here. Glad to see you all. Representatives Billiot, Marino, Connick, Carter, Thomas, Lyons, Leopold, Gisclair, Carter, and Stagney. You can see we got a number of votes in the legislature too to kind of help along. But these folks all work tirelessly for not only our area, but throughout the state to try to bring things about. I want to give a special thanks. You know, I've had the pleasure through the years of serving with 7 different governors, and I have the highest respect for each and every one of them. Each of them tried to make our state a much, much better place to live and to provide for a future for our people. But I got to tell you, I don't know if anybody worked as hard as Governor Edwards does on a day-to-day basis, puts in so much time. And you see the effort throughout the state with the economic growth we have. Our unemployment's at low numbers. We see increased revenues. The best friend government has is a solid economy, and that's beginning to show up in our tax revenues and other things that we can now invest in education, invest in healthcare, and in public safety, and that's all because of the hard work he has done. I think it's best for government to assist a company like this trying to come to do it, and then our next job is to get out of their way and let private enterprise succeed and go forward. And I feel all the confidence that these folks are going to bring this to its highest level. But thank you very much for having me.
I would also like to recognize our state rep from Kenner, Ms. Julie Stokes, is here with us. Governor, we're so delighted to have you back in Jefferson Parish, and Senator Alario, thank you for that phone call that really opened the door to getting this done when you sent John Shen over to my office with Hilco, and then I got to meet Roberto and I got to meet Adam. And this, of course, is a landmark day for Jefferson Parish. In 2009, when the USS New York sailed up the Mississippi River, that was one of the last U.S. naval vessels to be built here at Avondale. Even before becoming parish president, I made a revival of Avondale as a campaign pledge to bring this prosperity back into commerce and to let it energize our entire parish economy. This site has a long and storied history. This site, only 20 miles upriver from New Orleans, holds all the promise in the world for its new owners and our region. This 200-acre site with about 8,000 feet of riverfront property and deep water access will be the multimodal waterfront industrial park, home to both small and large companies. The struggle by this administration and this council to reopen this facility has been discussed everywhere, from the corridors of Congress to conference rooms in Jefferson Parish. I want to thank Adam Anderson and Roberto Perez for their investment and trust in our government and our parish. Thank you, Governor Edwards, for your partnership and commitment. I appreciate the work you and your staff do, especially those at the Louisiana Economic Development Department. I want to also thank Brandy Christian and the Board of the Commissioners for the Port of New Orleans for your willingness to journey into uncharted areas to create a deal that is unique to this property. I'd like to thank Senators Bill Cassidy and John Kennedy, along with Congressman Cedric Richmond, for their leadership and persistent prodding to put this land back into business. I also want to thank my very own Jefferson Parish Port Task Force, which Adam alluded to earlier, for working behind the scenes to help negotiations move very smoothly. I appreciate the support of each of you because it means so much for our Louisiana workforce and our local, regional, and state economy. This shipyard, soon to become a thriving transportation and logistics hub that will be recognized in the global marketplace, will once again rev its engines with workers enjoying family wage jobs. The skills workforces needed for this facility will be fed by our local technical institutions, right, Mr. Superintendent? During the negotiation process, I have enjoyed getting our experience and the ambition and drive of the talented executive whose waterfront experience is vast. Adam Anderson, the president and CEO of T. Parker Host. Adam is very passionate about his company, and as well he should be. He rose from loading trucks to running the company. Adam, your investment in our parish is more than appreciated. The Jefferson Parish will live up to its commitment as true partners in this project, and you will love your new home on the majestic Mississippi River right here in Avondale. I'm especially pleased this morning because I saw firsthand the work of our new partners at Hilco and Host. As I toured their impressive development at Sparrows Point, Maryland earlier this year, I was in awe. I saw a large privately owned waterfront logistics and manufacturing multimodal site in North America at Trade Point Atlantic. Today, it is a global hub for business, trade, and commerce, just like Avondale Marine will be. The competition for this negotiation has been 3 years in the making for my administration and this council. And instead of cutting a ribbon earlier today, we've cut the chains off the gates here at Avondale. Since August of 2017, when Huntington Ingalls CFO Chris Kastner announced that they had found a buyer, I have waited for this day. This site, with its rich history of once employing 26,000 people and completing over 2,500 vessels, warships, offshore ships, and transports from icebreakers to container carriers, will hum again, and the sound of commerce will be music to all of our ears. Welcome to Jefferson Parish, T. Parker Host, and Hilco Global. You have made a difference today in the future of our parish, region, and state, and we will do whatever is necessary to accelerate the development of Avondale Marine. With the contract signed, the I's dotted and the T's crossed, the work of the Jefferson Parish Council on facilitating the growth of this project begins in earnest. The Council, with its unified and energized by the possibilities of this property under the new ownership of Adam Anderson and his partners, this will be a pivotal in the development of Avondale Marine, and though I know how eager each of those dedicated leaders are to our parish's economic growth, I can't wait to see the vigor and action that they will help Adam transpose this shuttered shipyard into one of the nation's bustling business centers. Council members, I am glad that you are here as part of this team at the helm of Jefferson Parish and will navigate us through this success. I would be remiss if I did not invite our council members to all take a bow, because they've certainly done a great job, and I want to personally thank each of them for doing that for us in Jefferson Parish. And now it's my pleasure to welcome the leader of the Jefferson Parish Council, Councilwoman Cynthia Lee-Sheng.
Good afternoon, and as our parish president said, I would like to introduce our council members. I'm speaking on their behalf. Councilman Ricky Template, Councilman Mark Spears, and Councilwoman Jennifer Van Rankin, and I'll have the honor of introducing one of my other colleagues in a minute. Just some inside ball, guys. You noticed it was raining right before our event was about to start. In the Chinese tradition, that is a fortuitous omen. That is good luck. That is good fortune, and I thought that was very appropriate, and it brought a smile on my face. we have to appreciate this moment, all of us here, and just take a breath and a pause and realize where we came from. This is historic ground. You know, when we've been involved in this development, you know, in the past several years, you run into people, and all of you have. My dad worked there. My grandfather worked there. This morning, a woman said, my mom worked here for 30 years. And the common thread around all those people is there is a sense of pride when they say that. That is their family tradition. Families have grown up around Avondale. Families have that sense of pride. And to see it slow down, to see it virtually stop was very difficult for us, because those folks were an economic driver in Jefferson Parish. Those folks were part of our local economy and a pride in serving our country's defense. And so today represents a wonderful new day of hope for us, that there's going to be new life at this plant. And how cool is it? Picture a worker in the 50s and 60s and 70s building a ship, never imagining the internet, never imagining a digital age, and now this site is going to be part of, my understanding, possibly the distribution and supply chains of industries that are part of the new economies and the new sharing world. So with that, I want to say personally, thank you for believing in the site, thank you for believing in the people of Jefferson Parish, and we open our arms to you and we look forward to a very long future. With that, I would like to introduce my colleague on the council, Councilman Paul Johnston, in whose district we sit.
Thank you, Cynthia. What a great day in Jefferson Parish. This is one of the biggest developments Jefferson Parish has ever had, if not the biggest. Over $200 million have been invested into this property and more to come. The parish appreciates you guys coming in and investing in our community. And I'd like to thank the people that are responsible for this, and I have it written down. First, I'd like to thank our federal delegation for their involvement in helping get this done. The JETCO organization, GNO Inc., the Port of New Orleans, thank you guys for all you do. The state of Louisiana Governor, thank you, and Senator Alario for y'all getting involved and helping us get this project going. The Jefferson Parish Administration, Mr. Yenni, and your administration, thank you. And my fellow colleagues, Jefferson Parish colleagues, thank you guys. Y'all were on board from the beginning. Y'all were there for when we needed y'all, and I want to thank y'all for all your involvement in this. Also, I'd like to, again, thank the HRE of New Orleans and Avondale Marine for bringing this project to life. But ladies and gentlemen, you don't know how important this is for this development of this area. When Avondale left this area really took a hit. Now, being back, this business is coming back into this area, creating up to 25 to 3,000 jobs in the next 5 years. This will help bring back this community, the Bridge City area, back to where it needs to be. It'll create jobs, we'll be able to open up restaurants, bring back things we need in this area. Again, I want to thank everybody for coming, and thank you guys for investing. And I'd like to introduce Michelle Ganon, this next speaker. Ganon.
Good morning. My name is Michelle Ganon, and I serve as the Port of New Orleans' Vice President of Public Affairs and Chief of Staff for the President, Brandy Christian. Brandy would be here today if she wasn't not just out of town, but out of the country. She really wishes that she could be here. And I'm going to be brief, but echo all the sentiments that the speakers before me have said. I've been asked to share the port's perspective on the revitalization of the Avondale Shipyard property, which is located in our jurisdiction. More than 25 companies currently hold jurisdictional permits in Jefferson Parish. The port has been working to increase this activity and create more jobs with family supporting salaries. That is our mission, and it's our state mandate. In addition to internal efforts, we have met monthly as part of Jefferson Parish President and Port NOLA Task Force. The Avondale Shipyard property is large and well located on the river, as has been mentioned. Its reactivation is critical for the parish to flourish from a maritime perspective. We celebrate T. Parker Host's plans for additive activity to the waterfront. We've been told that this includes distribution centers, manufacturing, steel fabrication, and other logistics services. The implementation of this vision will contribute significantly to the momentum that our region is experiencing. It also perfectly complements Port NOLA's plan for regional, freight-based economic development. The Mississippi River is the lifeblood of this region, an economic artery and maritime highway that connects Louisiana and 31 states with international markets on 6 continents. Our New Orleans Public Belt Railroad and its connections with 6 Class I railroads gives all of us a significant competitive advantage. Today's celebration represents the collective efforts of many allies. We are pleased to be here and very much look forward to Avondale's contributions to the parish, region, and the state. Welcome, and now I'd like to introduce Jerry Bologna, JEDCO's President and CEO.
Welcome, Adam and Roberto. Thank you for your investment and the confidence you're showing in Jefferson Parish. This has been a day 8 years in the making for us. It's taken us a while to get here, but in HRE New Orleans, in Avondale Marine, we're confident we have the right partner. The partner that not only has the wherewithal to carry out a project of this scope, but they have the vision, the bold vision to turn this into a multimodal manufacturing. We're here in the middle of Manufacturing Week. This was a great manufacturing site, and it will be returned to its former glory. It's an exciting time for us in economic development in Jefferson Parish. Last 5 years have seen hundreds of millions of dollars invested in economic development projects throughout this region, but this project right here, has the potential to be the greatest. And that's what brings us excitement. On behalf of the JEDCO Board of Commissioners, the Parish Council and Administration, who have played a critical role in offering an incentive package to help you invest in infrastructure and maximize the job creation that will take place in this site. We're excited to have arrived at this moment. This has been a heavy lift. Figuratively, literally, it's been a heavy lift. It has required multiple jurisdictions at every level, our federal delegation, the Corps of Engineers, our governor, his staff, all of our state legislators, our parish council, all the way down. This has been a project that has required intense cooperation, and that's been a universal theme I think you've heard from all of our speakers. But this is economic development. It's collaborative, it's thoughtful, and I think you should know that this has been Jefferson Parish, our region, and our state at its best. Collaborative in order to execute a vision. So Adam, Roberto, again, welcome. These announcements are always great moments, celebratory moments, but our work doesn't stop here. We're here and we're your partners for the long term, so thank you again for investing in Jefferson. Now I mentioned the regional cooperation. I'd like to introduce my counterpart at the regional level, Michael Heck with GNOE.
Thank you, Brother Jerry, and I'm the final speaker here, and I just wanted to take a moment and to dedicate this moment and this day to Woody Ojay, who is somewhere former board member of GNOA, probably board member of every organization here, former employee of Avondale, who somewhere is wearing a lavender tie and is looking down on us and is smiling. You know, this does have all the hallmarks of real economic development. It's partnership. You all heard about all that. Any one of these partners were not involved, this project would not have happened. That's how critical every single person was. And then it was perseverance. So despite what Jeff Bezos might have us thinking with Amazon HQ2, the reality is that economic development is a long game, and this was definitely the long game. And so it's true economic development. In terms of the region, the impact is obviously huge. You're going to read a lot in the papers about, you know, the thousands of jobs and the millions of investment, and that's absolutely true. But the real thing is, if you pull back to the regional level and you look at everything that's going on here, you look at what's going on with other assets in Jefferson, like the airport, which we just found out is the third fastest growing airport in America over the past decade. You look at the river getting dredged down to 50 feet. You look at what's going on with Napoleon Avenue and the improvements there that are going to double the efficiency. You look at the prospective project in St. Bernard, the Sinclair project, $1 billion container facility. We even have $15 billion of projects being planned in Plaquemines Parish. And you put all that together, and what's so interesting and exciting is that we used to give it a lot of lip service, but now you truly see the region coming together to configure, to compete with Houston, to compete with Savannah, and to be world-class going into the future. So that's what's so exciting about this. So let me end again by thanking all the partners, current and past who've been working on this for years, and to Adam and Roberto, this is just the beginning. Thank you for your trust. Thank you for your vision. We look forward to a great future for Jefferson, for the region, for the state, and for everybody involved, and I know that we're making Woody Auger very happy. Thank you very much. I want to invite everybody now to the reception at Cedar Grove Chapatoulas Plantation, a mile up the road at 6533. Governor, you come back up, or okay, great. I want to make sure I didn't just do that. Hi, everybody. Thank you so much.
We just wrapped up a rather significant news conference at the former Avondale Shipyard site on the west bank of Jefferson Parish, just across the Mississippi River from the city of New Orleans. The shipyard at one point employed 26,000 people. It was the largest private employer in the state of Louisiana. Opened in the late 1930s, built icebreakers, warships, cargo ships, and everything like that. For 7 or 8 decades. It closed in 2014, and Huntington Ingalls Industries, the owner of the site, has been looking to sell it ever since then. Today we've got the announcement that the site has been sold to a partnership of Hilco Development out of the Chicago area and the T. Parker Host Corporation out of Norfolk, Virginia. It is to be refurbished and converted into a global logistics center for transportation that would take advantage of the river, rail, and highway. We don't have a timetable for that yet. There's got to be some work done on the docks here, as well as some other refurbishment, but they're talking about 2,000 to 3,000 jobs down there. So once again, Drew Broach, NOLA.com, and the times-picayune at Avondale Shipyard. The property has been sold, and we'll have more on this later on NOLA.com.